Hello, friends. It's Chapo.
What's it like out there?
It's chaos.
Lock up the weapons in the safe now.
Every little family dream, 3 meals a day, and kids, and bedtime prayers. It's over.
God has forsaken us.
Jimmy!
Leave me alone, Sophie! Leave me alone!
Jimmy!
He deserves to die! Who is responsible for it? Huh? Who's responsible? You know who? God is! God is responsible!
We're living in.
We are still a family.
Our city is one of the few places that's successfully resisting tyranny and disarmament.
God is good. He is what is good in this broken world, and He is loving, even when we don't understand it. If we trust Him, everything will be just fine.
Start the show.
Is this gonna be premium or
This is premium.
Yeah, this is premium. This is premium type shit.
Primo type shit. We're paying for it.
This is like the forgotten riffs. Like this is real. This is a madness room.
Just give it to us when we
When we talk
All
about
right. This is like a Necronomicon
Yep.
type episode.
Yeah. We will be babbling dead languages by the end of it.
dude.
Okay. To begin, hello, it's Chapo. It's me, Matt, Felix, and joining us, special guest, brother Brendan James.
Hey everybody.
Brendan's back with us.
Yeah,
because
he's thinking he's back.
Brendan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're thinking Brendan's back. He's joining us because all four of us just attended a film experience in downtown Brooklyn,
Splendid.
and we're here to share it with you. The movie was The Reliance.
Yes.
This was a one-night only event.
A Fathom event.
A Fathom. Yeah, this will not be seen in theaters ever again.
That was it.
I think that was
it.
maybe the only showing of the movie.
The audience
think
we
it
saw
is.
there was it.
Well, I mean, in this theater, there's a number of theaters across the country,
Yeah, but
even
still.
across this area.
Yeah.
But yes, one night only.
Okay.
Which that movie that you guys watched, Trump Prophecies, also started out as a Fathom event. It's a Fathom event, and then I think a month later or so, it's released on video on demand.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the Fireman Prophecies movie that we did, because this is a very much a sort of sequel to that episode, because it's another movie that plumbs the depths of the insanity of modern suburban evangelical Christians.
It is a booby hatch up there.
I just want to comment on how much I've grown to appreciate the style of Christian filmmaking, where all the dialogue seems to be culled by Kafka prompts. Nothing said has any relation to the line previous or the line following. Characters just seemingly spring up. We said this during the movie, but this movie should have been called "Is this the guy or the other guy?" They're horrible, confusing. Just you lose every sanity point during these experiences.
Think about how cruel that is, considering the audience for this type of movie is going to be older. And old people already have a hard time keeping movie plots straight. How many times have you been with a relative watching a movie and had to try to explain it to them all the way through?
Yeah.
It's hard. It wasn't possible for us jaded, media savvy millennials. How the fuck could a boomer watch this movie and understand who anyone
Matt,
is?
I'm gonna disagree with you for a second, because I think to us, this movie was utterly baffling, and at almost any given point in the movie, we were characters on screen would say things like, "What's happening?" and then we'd be like, "Yes," and then the movie wouldn't answer,
Nope.
or "Who are you?"
Yeah.
and we'd be yelling the same thing at the screen. The movie did not answer. At no point could you clarify
Nope.
what the backstory, motivation, or relationship was between almost any of the characters on screen.
Inscrutable.
There were a number of there was at least a couple incredibly baffling gaffes and plot points in this movie that were mind melting to see.
Some real jaw droppers.
These movies, they're particularly powerful, I feel, because it's a more more cops should be in theaters for these movies than the Joker.
There was a
Because
security guy.
there was one.
That
there
cop is
should-
always at
Oh,
Court
is he?
Street.
Oh,
yeah.
he just loves movies. he doesn't even like to see him. He's just
No, but, like,
hey,
the
hey,
movie
say
cop.
say hi to the silver screen for me while you're in there. That's what he says. No one can tell him to stop. But yeah, every I would say for the first like 75% of this movie, every scene ended with a character who seemingly just like had no strict relation to another character. It seemed very fluid going, but why? And then just walking away because that's what like a Christian filmmaker thinks is poignant.
Well, on the security point, I didn't hear the one you did about Joker, but just the general gist I've gotten.
Not
This
listening to the
is
show, I see.
this is whatever. This is way more of a public hazard. This film.
Oh, yeah.
If people with any kind of problems go in and watch this,
See, this
they
is the
do
kind of
need
movie-
more
This is the
security
kind of
services.
movie where it seems off to a normal person, but if your brain is scrambled in a certain way, it vibes on your frequency,
Right.
and it's telling you
Yes.
something that we can't hear.
That's what I was gonna
it's
say to you.
Whistling at a different
Yes.
frequency,
That's
like
what I-
activating you, like Reggie Jackson in
I
fucking
must
Naked
kill
Gun.
the queen.
The movie was baffling to us, but like to boomer suburban Christian brain, like that movie is right on their frequency.
Because you don't need to know
And
the
it
characters.
makes sense to them.
Yeah.
Like whereas they would see that movie and not be yelling at the screen.
That's true. You're right.
The best way to describe the experience of watching this movie is that due to certain circumstances, Brendan and Felix were about maybe 10, 15 minutes late. And because it was a Fathom event, there were no trailers, and the movie just started at 7 on the dot. Matt went to like let them in the theater because the QR code, blah, 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 blah. I was the only one in the theater for like from the very first second of the movie to the end. At no point was I at an advantage to understand what was going on in this movie than you guys were.
We kept looking.
It was
at
a
you like,
completely,
why is that? I don't know.
completely like level playing field as far as that.
True.
So
Inscrutable.
I guess the best way to start is like just talk about what we thought this movie was going into it, and then reveal to you as best we can. And like honestly, it will be difficult to repiece together the plot by plot parts of this movie. That I will try to preserve some of the the spoilers for you, and so you can experience them as we did going through it. But in the act of recalling it, I fear that we will be almost summoning its power.
Yeah.
And the prophecy that this movie actually contains, and the grim omen that it portends.
By the way, I do like I'm not going to give it away right now, but I have solved the key mystery of this movie.
I'm excited.
No, yeah, okay. Listener, like the doors will be unlocked.
Yeah, we've already lost all our sanity points. If you are mentally strong, you should listen to this episode. If you have problems, if you have like wandering,
If you have reality issues,
if you have reality issues, if you have any of the common maladies our listeners have, like hysterical womb syndrome, bad vapors,
anxiety,
Wimp bone.
yeah, wimp bone,
imposter syndrome.
yeah, milk blood. If you have any of these disorders, you should avoid listening. But we've given up like any hope of a normal life after seeing this. But for those intrepid listeners who have like the mental fortitude, the 3% of listeners who have a normal job who can withstand this, we will guide you through this because together we have to solve the existential crisis of Christian filmmaking.
Okay, so we saw this movie again, a Fathom event at the Court Street Theater in downtown Brooklyn, which is for the audience for the one night event for this movie was empty.
Yep.
Just desolate. Not a single person
Literally
in the
just
world.
us.
Yeah.
Felix and I
Just-
walked in and we were like, all right, we got to find it. Let's just squint here and try to. And then
We
it
were
was just
the
you guys in the
only
middle of the
people
theater.
in Brooklyn, which I'm sure this is like the only place in Brooklyn you could see this movie on this night alone.
Yes, there are 2 in Manhattan and 1 in Brooklyn.
The only people out of millions insane enough to do this
Yeah.
were us four.
That's just how twisted we are, folks.
So again, a couple of months back, they saw the trailer for this movie, and people were like, "Oh my god, you guys got to do a movie episode about it," because it's a trailer that's like, what happens like in a world where like the Antifa take over, and there's like images of like people in black masks like breaking windows and being like implying that like they'll take your guns, and then it's like Kevin Sorbo is like a father, one man who will stand against the Antifa hordes and like with a gun like stand up for like his property, his family,
God.
and his God, and his religion, and his faith. So we thought going into the movie this would be like a fairly ham-fisted broadside or like a shitty attempt to make a thriller out of a Antifa plotline with Kevin Sorbo as the hero of it, right?
Wait a minute. This isn't my world. Disappointed!
That is not what this movie is.
Oh, no.
At all.
No.
Oh no.
At all.
No.
So
no, dear listener, it's something altogether different than that.
it again, without giving anything away, it basically becomes. I would describe this movie as like what would happen if some sort of Christian ministry used a multi-level marketing scheme to get a script made by one of their kids who was like trying to break into the industry, and then Felix, as you said, like every evangelical ministry has one person who's like, yeah, I own all the copper in America.
Yeah. I go to this church that is like obviously used to be a Lowe's.
Yeah.
But I own it's somehow legal for me to own all the hospitals in the state. I have $17 billion. Of course I'll make your movie called Hope Came Through.
I own 15 water parks. All of them are being sued for people getting Legionnaire's disease.
Yeah. I am the Eric Prince of the hot tub industry. Of course I'll make your movie.
Okay, if that type of person financed a movie that was like a hokey evangelical Christian attempt to make a PG version of essentially Cormac McCarthy's The Road,
Yes.
Right. Imagine
but have an uplifting message at the end of it.
Cormac, of course, like literal Cormac McCarthy's The Road, if it was PG Christian, would be me and my son, we just want to see the Grand Ole Opry. Before we die, we want to see Jason Aldean.
It is PG-13 technically.
Okay, there was some violence.
There
in
was
this movie.
there was a fair bit of violence.
Yeah.
Not all of it seemingly connected to like anything that was depicted on screen.
So I think we need to do a forensic reconstruction of like what happens in this movie as best we can remember it.
Yeah.
While it's fresh in our minds. So
I've been thinking about it since
I'm the only one that saw it from the very, very beginning. So I'm the only one who holds this cursed knowledge. The very first scene in the movie is star of Stone Cold, Brian Bosworth, busting into an ER room, emergency room, saying, "My daughter, you got to help my daughter." Like there's been a car accident.
Yeah.
And Kevin Sorbo is the surgeon on call at the hospital who rushes the daughter away. But again, star of Stone Cold, Brian Bosworth is very agitated and upset after Kevin Sorbo asks him how much have you had to drink today? Clearly he's some shitheel asshole who's just like driven drunk and almost nearly killed his daughter or whatever. Right. And they're like, I'm gonna ask you to stay here. And then like hospital security is like, sir, if you resist us, like we will put the cuffs on you. He then Boz Stone Cold gets in like a fight with like the hospital security guard, reaches up for officer service weapon, pulls it out, and is like, let me see my daughter. I need to see my daughter right now. And then like he's talked down not by Kevin Sorbo, but like just like some random guy you'll never see again, not in the movie at all.
Well, this is like I've actually seen a lot of Christian movies. I am a Christian, sure, but like this is a key feature. Like they, like in godless Hollywood, because they don't have God, they have to have a bunch of bullshit rules so they won't immediately kill themselves every day. One of these rules is Chekhov's gun. Like if you show something, you have to show it later. Christians, nah, no way. One and done, baby.
Yes. I just realized there's a bunch of not fired guns in this
goddamn
movie.
crossbow.
I know. Well, and the sword.
Oh yes!
So
what the
we'll
fuck?
get to that. So just validate Felix's point.
Yeah, so like in a Christian movie, during like the thing that sets off every event that happens, there will be like a character, right, who talks a guy down or like saves someone's life, and the camera will linger on them for like 5 entire seconds, and you'll be like, wait, what role does this person play later? And it's like, none. They just kept that shot too long.
Yeah. Okay, was that Eric Roberts?
No. The only thing you've seen so far, Brian Bosworth is a shithead, asshole, piece of shit.
Who grabs a cop's gun.
Who grabs a cop's gun because he was driving drunk and killed his daughter or whatever. And Kevin Sorbo is they rush the kid off. You don't know what happens to the kid.
Right.
Kevin Sorbo is just the surgeon who's just like, get this man out of here. I will save your daughter. Bosworth is talked down. They're like, think of your daughter. What would she want? And he's like, my faith. And he says, my faith. Oh. So you think his daughter's
You think it's his daughter's
something like
name.
that? Like, and then he puts his gun down, and then he's arrested, and he goes. I guess
and then
then it just cuts. That's we don't know what happened to the daughter. We don't know what happened to him. It's like 7 years later.
7 years later.
After that, it is we open on suburban home. It's with Kevin Sorbo as the dad, and he has I forgot how many
47
kids.
children.
Yeah.
He has every time the camera pans, it finds a new kid.
They're budding.
are okay.
He gets wet and throws him off like a mogwai.
The only way like a actual person could have that many kids at Sorbo's age is if like they were hatchlings. Like if he literally laid eggs and like sat on them with his warm gun.
Okay, so it is. There is I think the eldest daughter. Again, this is very, very.
We're in shaky waters from this point on.
Okay, there is what I assume is the eldest daughter who is in the house with her fiance.
Yeah,
and she's looking at a wedding dress, and she's like, "Oh, like I'm not going to show you. Like, my wedding day is going to be the first day you see me in this dress." And he's like, "Okay, babe." Like,
Christian
guy,
band.
I want to say the guy looked like a Tom Cruise Halloween mask. He just kind of looked like Tom Cruise, but off. Several iterations.
He looks like if the Chinese got some of the technology to make Taylor Lautner, but not all of it. And they're
They had
like,
to freehand the rest of it.
they're like, we can't bring this to the battlefield. It's just not good enough. It's not that it will get destroyed by the real Taylor Lautner.
That's not who he's.
Sell it
he's
back
thinking
to
of
the
other
Americans.
kid. You're thinking of the other kid.
Which one?
He's thinking of the James Spader kid. That's the one.
No.
The
The fiance.
fiancé.
Although this is
look
starting to
like
uncover the
Okay,
problem of the film, is that we don't know if someone at any given point is a boyfriend or a brother or a dad.
Cousin.
Yeah. This is like, I feel like Christians have spent the last decade inventing a new type of uncle, and that relationship was present in this movie. Where it's like,
I'm your nephew roommate.
This is as best I can reconstruct it. Like I think like the eldest daughter maybe is there with her fiance.
Okay.
And like they're thinking about getting married soon. Then we're introduced to, I guess, the elder brother. I
Yes.
don't know if he's older than
Who
the
looks
sister or
like a young
otherwise.
James Spader.
Yes.
Okay. He's playing chess. He's dressed like Kelvin Gemstone.
Yes.
like Matt, as you pointed out.
This is the pissed brother, right?
Yes.
the pissed,
Yes.
right,
He's
the
got the
pissed-
shirt. He's got the
From
weird
here on
beanie
out, he
hat.
will be referred to as the pissed brother or the James Spader brother.
The Piss brother has like a sick collection of Henleys, and like Henleys, as you know, the best shirt to punch a wall in. Like they allow
I'm
enough of your
wearing one right
pectoral to
now.
be open.
I'm actually repping Henley's at this moment.
Okay,
Yeah.
then he is shown playing chess with his younger brother, who's like quite a bit younger than him.
Yeah.
So it's easy to tell.
Like the pissed brother and fiance sister is definitely past puberty. They're young adults.
Okay.
Then there's like another tier of children.
Yeah, there's a second.
who
There's
are,
a second tranche of siblings.
And you package these into tranches, and then you sell them, and you make money.
And then, okay, there's a younger sister, and then like a middle sister in there as well. All of this
Yes.
very.
Who looks
yeah,
sort
and
of like an Aldi brand Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
yeah.
Who's as Matt pointed out, is probably like a Christian YouTuber
Yeah.
who has like is one of the 3 most famous people on earth. She
Yeah.
has 700 billion subscribers.
We never
That's the
saw them
family,
before.
generally speaking.
That's as best I can remember it. It's like the
then there's the
brother. The
mom.
brothers are showed playing chess, and then like on a TV screen, like that frames them, like you see what like a cable news feed, and you just see footage of like people in black, like mobbing in cities, and just like like looting,
it's a riot,
and
folks.
like implying that like
civil unrest.
they're like in the cities, like like it's like small rural towns have like held out or whatever.
It's happening right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Oh,
my
you
God.
still got the
My mic.
producer gene.